I had a lot to drink last night, and this is what's saving me. Hi guys, welcome to my channel if you are new, and if you're not, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and I like to talk about books. So if you like books as well, make sure you guys give that subscribe button a little and that way we can hang out again and talk about more books. So today I'm gonna talk about the books that I read for the month of February. February was a cool month, I guess. I don't have much else to say. Okay, let me just start by saying I am exhausted. I did not sleep much, and I also drank a lot last night with my friends. So, she's gonna stutter because she always does regardless, but just in case I do it more, there's a little heads up. Okay? Now, we're gonna keep moving, we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna start talking about the books that I read for this month. Now, I read 4 books this month, which I'm really proud of myself. I jogged through the last book I read because I really wanted to talk about it this month. So let's go ahead and get started on that part. Now, the first book that I read this month that I finished I actually started in January and carried on into February. And that was, sorry, I have it written down, Undocumented Americans by Carla Cornejo Villavicencio. And that book was exquisite. It was fantastic. It was great. It was so good. Okay? So good. Now, you may be like, Jessica, what did you rate it? Girl, this was a 5-star. 5. All of them. All of the stars it got. This book is about the Latinx undocumented Americans that are living here, that have lived here, that have worked and made their life in the United States. But obviously she changed their name. She didn't put anyone on blast or anything. But it was really heartbreaking and really heart-wrenching, you could say, like heart-quaking to read a lot of these stories. It was really relatable, at least for me, because I grew up with my parents being undocumented, and she really put out there so many stories about 9/11 and how the undocumented Latinos helped clean up, helped save lives. They also talked about Flint, Michigan, and the water, and all of that. They talked about, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. They talked about so much. It was so many things, and I don't have the book on me because I let my brother-in-law borrow it because I was just raving about how great this was, and I knew that he would enjoy it, so I let him borrow it, so he has it right now. But I don't just recommend this to undocumented Americans living here, because that is what you are. You are an undocumented American. You are a part of America, of the US, and this book just shows how much the government in this country, and not just even the government, but a lot of the people that are living in this country, overlook. Long story short, it was great. It's a really big eye-opener, and I recommend this to everybody. Every single person should read this book, and every single person should open their mind and their perspective to see how hard it really is to leave your home and completely like submerge yourself into completely different society that you're used to. You know, it's a hard thing, and it's crazy to even like imagine. Like, I know my parents had a hard time, and I know a lot of other people had a hard time, but this book really just shows you the stories and of things that are going on currently with a lot of these people that are just suffering at the hands of people who just keep exploiting them. The fact that she put all of their stories out there and put it into a book and just kind of showed it to everybody and was like, these are our stories, because it does include her story as well. And I just thought it was really well put together. It was really, like, it wasn't boring to read, and I just think it's really important that everybody should really check that out. So yeah, go check that out. It was, I think I already said this, 5 stars. Great book. Great. All right, next book. I went from that book and I wanted to get into something a little bit more light, more fluffy, more happy, because girl, when you read something that gets really, really, really serious, you just get kind of submerged into, like, well, at least for me, because I got depression, so it just kind of makes me down. So I needed something to lift me back up, right? Right. And that book was Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. And this book was so cute. I loved it. It was great. I did rate it 4 stars. This book is about 2 guys. One of them is the first son of the United States of America, and the other one is the Prince of Wales. So he's a prince over on the UK side. And they get into an altercation, and then what happens is the public relations, to try to clean it up and kind of try to make it seem like everything's okay in the media, they made them kind of like spend time together in the media, like take pictures together, do meetings together, like go out and like do like community service things together to show that they're friends, right? But they weren't friends. They were actually not really fans of each other, hence how the altercation happened. But then throughout them, you know, getting to know each other, they start to kind of like each other, start to find out they have some things in common, and they get really interested in each other's lives, and they start kind of confiding in each other in the problems that they're facing, which are pretty much similar-ish situations, because they are both in this kind of rare situation where they're both like, you know, the kids of government royalty, you could say. One was the president, but the other one was royalty. So they both kind of had like, they understood kind of what each other was kind of going through, which made them in turn get closer. And I really liked this book because not only did they get closer, but I loved the way that their friends' relationship also got closer. I really enjoyed like the relationship with his group of friends, his sister and like one of his best friends, and then his group of also friends and I think also sister. So I really enjoyed the way that they kind of brought them together, not just them 2 individually, but like everybody else. And it was, I don't know, it was really cute. The ending was so cute. Also, like, I think I said this before, I made a vlog on it. You guys can go check it out if you guys want. I literally got butterflies reading this book. Like, I was like, oh god, like, oh my god, it was so good. I loved it. And the steam was never too raunchy or too much for me. It was just the perfect amount of steam. So I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, and I want to reread it. All right, next book I read. You just saw it, didn't you? Possibly, perhaps, maybe. The next book I read was The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai, and this book was I gave this book 3 stars, and this book was cute. It was set in the Bay Area, which was exciting, and it's about this guy and this woman. They're both like in their mid-ish 20s, mid to late 20s, and she is Indian, and her family is kinda trying to get her into an arranged marriage, and he doesn't have much relationship with his family, but he is, you know, the bad boy who rides a motorcycle and he's like super hot. But they were friends growing up. So he is the best friend of her brother. And so basically they grew up together. They've been knowing each other forever. And he stood her up for a date, for prom specifically. And she was never able to let that go. But not only did he stand her up, but he also left after that. Like, he just never came back into their lives. All three of them, like the brother, the dad, and her. And she was already kind of grieving with the loss of her mom, who also ran out on them. So she kind of put that into the same kind of box and kind of threw that hatred towards him, because then she saw him again and it was like, you know, like she needed someone to blame, kind of. So she was kind of projecting the hate onto him. And she, in turn, she gets cornered by one of her aunties with somebody that they want her to marry, and she gets overwhelmed and pretends that that is her fiance or her boyfriend, and they get tangled up in this whole situation. But then it turns out that he needed also her help for his own family situations. He needed to find a bride before his birthday, or else he was not going to be able to inherit some distillery that was very important to him from his family. So he went along with the plan, and they both worked through it, dating plan. So they planned out different dates to go on, and they would go on them, and slowly, you know, they started to fall in love, and it was cute and it was nice. But the problem I had with this book, the reason that it's not a 4 or 5 star, is because this book was very cute. There was a lot of sexual tension. It was always building. You can always tell that they were just like you always just wanted them together. You just were always rooting for them. So that was like a great thing, right? But then but then they finally come together, and it was steamy. So that happened, and then after that, it was just kind of like, I felt like after that, the story was kind of dragged out, and it was just like steamy scene after steamy scene after steamy scene, and it was just kind of like, okay, we get it. They're very excited to be with each other, and they finally are, and they really enjoy it. I don't need to read that over and over and over again. And also, I felt like a lot of the resolution was kind of, it was dragged out for quite a bit, and then it was just kind of all, this is what happened. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of, I didn't like the way it unraveled at the end. Like, leading up to it was great, and I feel like after that, I don't know. After that, I felt like, you know, the climax, you want a slow kind of descend, but not that slow. And yeah, like towards the end, towards the last few chapters of this, I was kind of starting to skim it, and I was honestly starting to get kind of bored, and it got to the point where I was like, I just want this to end. Like, I just want this to end, which I never really feel like that with other books. Like with Red, White, and Royal Blue, I didn't want it to end. Every time I turn a page and I knew I was getting closer to the end, I would get a little bit more like stressed out. Like, I didn't want it to end. But this one, I was like, please end. Like, oh my God, please end. Like, I need it to be over. But overall, I gave this 3 stars. I probably won't read it again. Maybe depending on my mood. I might reread it. I probably won't, honestly. But it was cute. I mean, if you need a cute distraction, it was a great distraction, and it was well written. So I'm not knocking it completely down, but it wasn't the best romance I've read. Sorry. Also, side note, I felt like I understand the whole betrayal part of her mom and her kind of linking those two things together, but I felt like her and that whole prom situation was just getting kind of childish, and it was kind of getting annoying. Like, we get it, he left you on at prom night and you were really destroyed and you were really sad and stuff, but it's just prom. I don't know if it's just me because I didn't really go to prom because I didn't really care to go to prom, but like, she made a huge deal about this prom deal, and I was just like, girl, move on. Y'all weren't even dating. He was just gonna take you because you had no one else to take you. And you want to be all butthurt for 152 years about how he did show up for prom. All right, next book is Kill the Boy Band. I just finished this. Did I? I thought I was holding it upside down. I just finished this a few hours ago. After I finished this, I decided to watch a few videos about books to see what I wanted to read next. So that happened. But anyways, this is Kill the Boy Band by Goldie Moldavsky. Goldie Moldavsky. That is who wrote this book. This book is about 4 friends that love this boy band, and they do everything they possibly can do to try to meet them. One of them, this is what, okay, I gave this 4 stars, and this is why I really enjoyed this book, okay? Because they had the fanfic writer, they had the blogger, the tweeter, the blogger, the one that knew everything about everyone. Like, they knew where they were staying, they knew where they were going, like they knew what car like to look for. Then there was like the actual fan. Like, she was just she was a fan, you could tell. She was crazy for them, but she wasn't to like the extreme like the other ones. I feel like she was like up there. She was really into it, but she had a little bit more of a level head. But she was still a crazy fangirl. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, she was just a little bit more level-headed crazy fan. Well, at least that's what you think. Anyways, and then they had the actual crazy one, like the one that would literally, she didn't care. Like, she didn't care. She was just gonna say what she wanted to say. She wanted to meet her man, and and if she had him and when she had him, she was gonna fucking love him, because that was her purpose in life at that time. At that exact moment of her fangirling days, her mission was to love that man and to make him fall in love back. Which, if you are a fangirl, you know that there are these different kind of tiers of fangirling, which makes me think that this author, she was a fangirl. Because there's no other way to be able to write this book and get them, like, their personalities were just what you would expect from these fangirls. Kind of cool to see it unravel, and there were twists, there were turns, and it was really, it kept me on my toes. I really enjoyed it. I honestly think it was almost a 5-star read, but the reason that I couldn't give it 5 stars was because, and this may seem very insignificant to you, but to me, it, like, as soon as I read that in the book, it made me feel like, I don't know. Let me just tell you. They were, the boys, the boy band, they were in a show, a British show, a singing competition. And they each they could not continue on with the show. So the show said that they would put them in a group together. Does that sound familiar? The show was called, this is the cherry on top of it. So you think the British don't have talent? What? That was just, I I don't even know what to say. I don't know. I feel like if you're a fangirl and especially with One Direction, like, and you read that part, you just, it gives you, I don't want to say a bad taste in your mouth, because it's not just a bad taste. It's just kind of cringy. It just made me cringe. So that just kind of made me feel uncomfortable. Also, I understand, like, fangirls, we do kind of make fun of the guys, and we also, you know, but like the way that they talk about this poor, it was, okay, the band is called the Ruperts, and there's 4 guys in it, and they're Rupert, what is it, Rupert L, Rupert K, Rupert X, and yeah, Rupert X, and then Rupert P. The way they would talk about Rupert P, like, I understand you're not a fan. I understand, like, he's an asshole, but like the way they talked about him and put him down all the time over his looks, like, I get it to do it a little bit, but like this whole book put this poor boy, and I say poor boy because there's a lot of boys that look like that. And I don't want to completely destroy that, but I did not like the way that they would just drag him. I don't know, that's how I felt. I felt like they kept dragging on him. They kept putting him down, and it was kind of unnecessary. Like, at first I got it, like, you're not a fan, but like when it continued going, and I was just like, okay, like, I understand, I get it, like, he's ugly, like, you don't need to keep pointing it out. But the poor boy, they just kept dragging on him, like, and they never stopped. Like, towards the end, like, she even, let me see if I can find it. I probably can't find it. I'm not gonna look for it. But like, they just kept dragging on him, and it's like, okay, like, that's enough, you know? But yeah, 4 stars for this guy. I do recommend it. If you like thrillers, this really was, it was interesting. It's especially if you're a fangirl, I definitely think you would enjoy that. I feel like you would identify with at least one of those girls. I feel like I identified with like 2. I was like a mix of 2 of them. But yeah, that was it. All right, made it to the end of the video. I rambled, I talked a lot, I'm tired. I drank coffee, but it didn't kick in. So I guess that's where we stand. If you liked this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, and make sure you guys comment down below if you were a fangirl. Were you a fangirl? I wanna know. Let's all fangirl together. I'm literally wearing my Demi Lovato shirt right now. She's a fangirl. And make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell right next to it so you can get notified for any time that I post a new video. I like to talk about books here, so if you hit that bell, we can hang out and talk about more books. It'll be great. I love doing this. So yeah, I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Now that I'm saying it, something's gonna happen and I'm not gonna be able to post next Wednesday, but I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Have a beautiful rest of your day or week or life. If you decide not to come back, but please come back. And I hope everybody just has a great day and read lots of books and be happy, stay indoors, wear a mask, all that stuff. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Bye.